Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. Tonight, we are talking about the latest developments in the Nolan Wells case. And the developments take us directly into the medical evidence, the grand jury process, and the final timeline before the boat left Horn Island. Nolan Xavier Wells was 18 years old and is recent graduated high school. His family says he had the entire life ahead of him. And tonight we're going to be talking about his autopsy and everything that we know in the latest reports. A lot to show you guys on the other side of this.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace, smile through pain with a painted face. They called me too loud, too much, too strong, but honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's a twist. I turned my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. I shine like grace in a reckless world. You can test my faith, you can shake my plan, but I'll rise again. Just watch me judged by the gloss, not the cause. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm an unbreakable soul, dressed in truth and pearl. The fire don't scare me, it lights my world. You can doubt my voice, but you'll hear my name. I'm holy and hood, and I'm done with shame. For everyone called too much, too loud, too real. You're not to anything. You're exactly what power looks like. I'm an unbreakable soul, through the fight and flame. My scars are stories, my strength, my faith. Faith in my heart, fire in my curls, forever divine. Clutch them pearls.
Hold up, lights on, chat in the room, another late night, and another headline blooming. Coffee gone cold, but the story got heat, and one little detail keep tapping my screen. Coming in clutch, when the timeline bends, we don't just scroll, we connect loose ends. Somebody said, nah, that's probably enough, but the chat said, Justin, we're coming in clutch. Run that back, don't rush that part. Something felt wrong from the very first start. Different day, same shaky excuse, and the math ain't mathin' when we check the proof. I'm not here to play detective for fame, I'm here when the story starts changing names. One clip, one call, one post too much, and the whole room knows we're coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, yeah, the facts stay loud. Truth don't hide when we bring the crowd. Screens lit up and the chat don't sleep. We dig real deep where the stories get steep. Pearls in the chat, lights in the back. Somebody better explain why the story went flat. You can dodge one question, maybe dodge two, but the internet clock what you said don't cue. Wait. Say that again, you said it was there, then it wasn't back then. You said you forgot, but the record got saved. Now the chat's wide awake and the room just changed.
Coming in clutch when it all gets strange, when the facts get buried and the tone starts change. We don't need drama, the truth does enough, that's why they pull up, we're coming in clutch.
Late night crew, yeah, we built this thing. One live stream turned to a whole damn ring. Members in green minds holding it down. Whole chat moving like a small town crowd. No fake hype, no lazy spin, just one more clue when we're back back again. If it don't sit right, we don't let it slide. We put the detail right up on live.
Coming in clutch, say it one more time. Whole room locked on the very next line. From the first red flag to the final touch, you know where to be, we're coming in clutch.
When the screen fades out and the night gets still, somebody somewhere knows truth comes real. We'll be right here when the next facts drop. Coming in clutch and we don't just stop.
Well, hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Thank you all so very much for joining me. Really do appreciate your time. You could have chosen to be anywhere on YouTube. You have a lot of options, anywhere on the internet, anywhere in the world, and you chose to be right here. I know your time is very valuable, and I do appreciate you spending some time with me. Today is July 26, 2026. It is currently 11:38 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. And hello, beautiful pearls. I know I'm very late, and did any of you guys get a notification? I don't know because I didn't schedule it ahead, and sometimes they don't send out the notifications. But tonight we're talking about the case of Nolan Wells, the autopsy. Uh, the answers just is the biggest question in this. And did something, obviously, something happened to Nolan, but what that is. We're going to be reviewing the autopsy report, and I've got some documents that's coming in as well. So, guys, before we get started, if you would be so kind and please do me a big favor and hit that thumbs up button, would greatly appreciate that. Also, if you would consider sharing this live out, hit that share button, copy that link, drop it in any of your favorite social media. And if you would consider hyping this video, you get 3 hypes a week. If you don't use it, you lose it. You have to do it after the live stream, and it has to be on your mobile device. Good to see everyone in chat. Late. Thank you, True Crime Junkie. How you doing? Thank you for the unk alert, my baby. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, my darling. Appreciate you very much for the unk alert. You did? That's good. Okay. All right, guys. So we're going to get right into it here. Let's pull some things up. I've covered the Nolan Wells case. The only thing I ask, guys, there is the first live stream I did on this, to be quite honest with you, for me, too many people made it about race and politics, and I really was not going to cover this anymore, to be honest with you. But then I thought, Justin, you can't do that because of what you know. So I'm going to continue to cover this because I think it's important. And I just ask that we keep it civil. I know people have strong feelings on this, but please keep it civil. I do not. For me, it has literally nothing to do with politics or race or anything like that. We in true crime, we cover everybody, and it doesn't matter what color, what creed, who you love, who you vote for. I don't get it. I don't get into that stuff. I never did, and I'm not starting now. So I just want to put that out there. Please keep it respectful. That's all I ask. We're a Pearl family, and we're here for victims. And that's it. That's it. You know what I mean? Thank you so much, Miss Victoria. Appreciate you very much, my darling. Appreciate you. Thank you very much for your support for the watch. How you doing? So yeah, I just please do that. I would greatly appreciate it. Okay. I know you guys probably didn't think I was coming back on this evening. But Ben Crump is a very high-powered attorney, and he did a press conference the other day. We've got the reports back on the autopsy of Nolan Wells. I believe this is the second autopsy that was done, and still it's undetermined, and when it's undetermined, we simply don't know. And I can't remember. Did Dr. Bodden? Does anyone know? Let's pull an all-nighter. Ooh, girl, I don't know about that. Did I can't remember if it was No, I don't think it was Dr. Bodden that did this autopsy. If I can't remember, but regardless, Ben Crump's going to go over this. I've got the files to the autopsy that we'll pull up as well. But the preliminary is that it's undetermined as of now. And yes, you are absolutely right in the bushes. They are both still incomplete. Appreciate you very much. Oh, thank you, Miss Tracy. Appreciate you, love. Good to see you, honey. Thank you so much. That is why we all love you, Justin. Not everybody loves me, but I appreciate you, Miss Tracy. Thank you so very, very much for your support. I really do appreciate that.
Room's alive. You send that kind of love and it makes me shine. Here it comes again, pulling me in tight. I got that kind of glow, turning all the night.
Pearl storm, coming in clutch. Pearl storm, that's too much for me. Pearl storm, coming in clutch.
Thank you so much, Miss Tracy. Appreciate you very much, my dear. Really, really do appreciate that, my dear. Does that mean more tests have to be done? It means, yeah, they're in the lab and they will have to finish the testing. Preliminary is just from the initial findings. And Ben Crump, he's going to talk about that. I'll talk about it in my experience working in funeral homes, and my uncle also worked for a coroner for decades. Rest his soul now, but and I'll talk a little bit about my experience and stuff with it as well.
Right. This is the first shot. Let's go with the first one. Put it right on. Where's the? Real one.
Oh gosh, Kelly, I hope everything's good. Wait, fast forward this a little bit. I thought I had it ready.
Press at bencrump.com. And so, Mr. Jones, keep that. I don't need this one. I just need this one here. Pull this close. So, pull this up here. So, Dr. Roger Mitchell, board certified forensic pathologist, performed a preliminary report on the death of Nolan Xavier Wells. He conducted and presented this report on July 19th, 2026. Preliminary report, second autopsy, death of Nolan Xavier Wells.
What's that in the bush?
Cause of death, undetermined, pending investigation. And we'll explain that as we go through the report this morning. The manner of death, undetermined, pending investigation. Statement of examination. This forensic pathologist was retained to perform a second autopsy examination on the body of Nolan Xavier Wells. Name of decedent, Nolan Xavier Wells. Age, 18 years old. Race, black. gender male, date of death unknown.
Unknown.
Second autopsy date was performed on July 10th, 2026. Preliminary findings, and this is significant. Focal area of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of the head, the occipital region. He said the etiology is unknown at this time.
Put up some pictures here.
He said the body was received after the initial autopsy. He said the body had marked decompensation. He said corona incision of the scalp, brain removal, Y-shaped incision of the anterior torso, and he talked about the organs being removed, as is common, accompanied in the body cavity. And that when you have an autopsy, the organs are removed from the body and they are dissected and examined, and then they are put back in a bag within inside the body. So when they're buried, their remains will all be with them. But in this occasion, if there's going to be a second autopsy, then the organs are put in the body cavity so the second pathologist could be able to examine the organs as well. Very significant for Dr. Mitchell was that the anterior inner neck structures were absent, not received with the body. And we'll explain that in just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then it talks about
gotta listen to this.
The additional procedures performed during the second autopsy, and we'll go into the paragraphs on that there because he explains it better in his narrative. So where's the first page of the discussion? Not the diagram yet. You can keep the diagram over there. So he talks in the preliminary discussion opinion. This forensic pathologist identified several limitations during the second autopsy that create barriers to establishing a definitive cause and manner of death for Nolan Xavier Wells. And that's important. He talks about the fact that we didn't get to see the body when it was first recovered, like the medical examiner working for Mississippi would have seen it. He talked about the second autopsy performed on Nolan Wells revealed marked decompensation or changes. Marked decompensation can obscure the presence and absence of bruising on the skin surface, especially during a second autopsy examination.
Yes.
What he's saying, because the body was so decomposed that you couldn't tell if there was bruises or abrasions on the body when he received it.
Yeah, so when you, after there's been decomposition and you don't know the death date and there's lividity, and it can look like bruising, and your skin's becomes what they call mottled, means very patchy. You can't tell if it's bruising, or you can't tell if it's from decomp as well. So
the 10th of July. For these reasons, additional dissection procedures not performed during the first autopsy examination were performed to rule out potential blunt.
Oh, and who was asking about the shoes? Nolan, is my mic on? Let me make sure my mic's on. Yeah, my mic's on. Nolan Wells shoes were not found with his body. The United Cajun Navy says that he was discovered wearing only the same blue swim trunks seen in the photographs from July 4th, no shirt and no shoes.
Force injuries responsible for the death. These procedures included facial dissection, posterior head and neck dissection, dissection of the ribs, the pelvic, dissection of the subcutaneous and deep soft tissue, dissection of the back, the buttocks, the arms, and legs. He did all of this to rule out things. He ruled out there were no fractures or deep tissue injuries identified. This was very important because he wanted to be very thorough and very transparent, because transparency is the key to getting to the answers of why Nolan Wells is not with us. So he did that there.
So yes, yeah, and that's what yes, you're exactly right, Sandwich. There is conflicting reports on that, and we're going to go into that because the United Cajun Navy says not so fast. On the United Cajun Navy said that he was fully clothed, and he says this is what TMZ is reporting, that Ben Crump allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly to cover my ass, lied, and I'll get to that in a second. So why is there differences right there? Oh my God, Miss Kelly. Thank you so very much, Mamacitas. Appreciate you very much, Miss Kelly. Thank you so very much for gifting 10 pearl necklaces. Really, really do appreciate that. If you received one of those, make sure you give our Miss Kelly a big million thank yous. I appreciate you, my dear. And we're going to get to Nancy Grace here in just a minute as well.
And was very straightforward, very open. He says, however, dissection of the back of the head during the layered posterior neck dissection revealed a 12 by 8 inch focal area of red discoloration in the deep soft tissues overlaying the occipital bone. And he talked about how he found red discoloration when he cut open into the back of his head towards the occipital bone, and he saw the red discoloration, and we actually saw the pictures of it. It's significant. You can't help but notice, why is this dark red here in the back of his head? And so he was important to note that in his report. He said that etiology of this finding is unclear. There are no lacerations of the overlaying skin nor fractures of the underlying skull. These findings are inconclusive for perimortem injury due to both the extensive decomposition and the absence of associated injuries. This finding, however, is significant enough to be highlighted in this preliminary report for further investigation. It is important to reiterate.
So the first autopsy, yes, I do have the difference. The first autopsy was performed by the Mississippi State Medical Examiner Office, Dr. Roger, or sorry, it doesn't say who performed it. The second one was Dr. Roger Mitchell, retained by Nolan's family. The first autopsy happened July 7, 2026. Second autopsy happened reportedly July 10th, so 3 days after. The first autopsy, there's not a public report available. And we've got the preliminary findings right here with the second autopsy because it was private. The cause of death, not publicly released in the first autopsy. Second autopsy, undetermined, pending investigation. No, the cause of death, first autopsy, not publicly released. Second, undetermined, pending investigation. Same as the manner of death, not publicly released, undetermined for the second one. Was there a drowning? The first report, we don't know. The first autopsy, we don't know. The second autopsy, they could not confirm or rule it out. Toxicology, pending or unreleased, the first one. The second one, there was no independent toxicology performed. Fractures, it doesn't say in the first one. Second one, no fractures identified. Deep tissue injuries, none. Head findings, unknown publicly for the first one. Second one, red discoloration at the back of head. The cause is inconclusive though. Neck examination, state of the structure during the first examination, state that had structure. Second examiner could not fully examine them because they had been removed, the neck bones, which been crumpled. Talk about that in a minute. Lungs or stomach examined or retained during the first autopsy, findings unreleased. Second autopsy not available for independent examination. And both of them, is pretty much undetermined at this time.
That the finding could not have been observed in the first autopsy because the posterior head and neck dissection were not performed. He said,
so like from what I understand, there were certain things in the first autopsy that was removed, like the neck bones, the hyoid bone, to see if you were strangled or not. We don't know because it wasn't there, allegedly, I'll say. Tora, thank you so much, my dear. Thank you. Oh, you got a puggy. I love you even more now. I had a pug as well. She just passed just a few weeks ago, actually. So thank you so much, Tori. Appreciate you. Blessings with your little puggy. Hello, peace of all. Good to see you, my dear. We're going to watch Thing of Nancy here in just a minute.
Another limitation faced by this forensic pathologist was the absence of the anterior internal neck structures. The trachea and the laryngeal cartilage, the thyroid horn, and the hyoid bone were not received with the body.
Now, you and I know the hyoid bone is very important to see if somebody had been strangled, right? But it wasn't there. It was not there. That don't sound too good to me.
So he's saying that the throat was not received with the body when he got Nolan Wells' body in Washington, D.C. to perform the second autopsy. And so let's discuss
Exactly.
that with what he said about that. He said, it is assumed that the initial pathologist retained these structures for additional evaluation. He said the retention of the...
Listen.
For additional
Listen,
evaluation.
hold on.
He said, it is assumed that the initial pathologist retained these structures for additional evaluation.
So they kept his neck bone and his hyoid bone for additional evaluation. Okay. Did they let anybody know that before he was sent off? Thank you again, Tori. Appreciate you very much, honey. It's very kind of you. Really appreciate you.
He said the retention of the anterior neck structures during an initial autopsy is a common forensic pathology practice. He was chief medical examiner for 7 years in Washington, D.C., and he said that if they had concern about throat or any fracture or compression of the throat, they too will hold them back. He doesn't know why they held the throat back, but he said the throat was not with the body of Nolan Wells when he received it in Washington, D.C. to perform.
Now, yes, they can hold organs back and parts of the body for testing and evaluation. I just want to know, did they tell them that before the second autopsy, like when they was sending Nolan to the second autopsy, did they say, okay, we are sending you Nolan, but we are keeping these specific parts to be further evaluated? That's what I'm saying.
The second autopsy. He said, nevertheless, a posterior neck dissection performed without review of the anterior neck structures is incomplete. Therefore, this pathologist cannot rule out injury to the neck as a contributor or a cause of death. He said he would need to have the medical examiner in Mississippi allow him to review the throat. That's why he said his autopsy is undetermined pending investigation. Remember, it's about transparency.
Yes.
Because the initial autopsy rightfully removed and dissected each organ, there are additional limitations inherent in the second autopsy of Nolan Wells. The most significant of the limitations was the inability to directly observe the airway and the lungs for water and directly observe the...
Now, you see, that's very important because that's one of the main questions, right? What did Nolan, did he have water in his lungs? That would mean he drowned, right? And otherwise, the second autopsy, it's just not complete without those, in my opinion. I want to go here about the clothing thing, and then we're going to go to Nancy Grace on something else here. But listen here.
Brian Trasher, Vice President, United Cajun Navy. The Navy participated in the search, and I got to clear up that whole thing about fully clothed with you.
One second.
That said, isn't it true? And I'm looking at the picture on my phone that I got from an undisclosed source. I'm looking at Nolan's body on the beach. We are not showing it. He's face down, isn't he?
Yes. That's correct. Yeah, he was when we flew
Okay, I'm
over.
going to come back to you about the clothing.
Yeah.
What? Repeat.
No, I said when we observed him from the air, yeah, he was face down and he was wearing swim trunks and only swim trunks. I think that the term fully clothed just got taken out of context.
Okay. Now, there we have it. So that's what I've been reporting on, that he just had his shorts on. Just listen to that again.
Was face down and he was wearing swim trunks and only swim trunks. I think that the term fully clothed just got taken out of context.
Well, when you look at the body from high up, it appears at first like he had on a shirt with swim trunks, but he does not have on a shirt. He only has on swim trunks. That's a whole peripheral issue.
Tell me, young man, if you're...
Okay. Alrighty. So we're going to go to our friend Nancy to the Grace. All the Grace. Nancy looks pretty there. She's like very chic. I'm Nancy Grace.
You know him well. Joining us, Dr. Kendall Crowns. He is the Chief Medical Examiner of Tarrant County, Fort Worth. Literally thousands and thousands and thousands of autopsies under his belt. He is the esteemed lecturer at the Burnett School of Medicine at TCU. I don't have to explain to you what it takes to become not just a medical examiner, but the chief.
Nolan didn't have shoes on. He did not have shoes on when he was found. He just had his swimming trunks on.
Chief medical examiner in a metropolitan area like Fort Worth. All that aside, COD, MOD, undetermined. But what jumped out at me, among so many things, Dr. Kendall Crowns, what does he mean about the red discoloration in the deep, soft tissues overlaying the occipital bones? What is that? Translate.
So what that is the occipital bone is the bone in this is your skull. It's the bone in the back of your head, the directly back side of your head. So when he's describing these hemorrhages in the deep, soft tissues, it means deep in the musculature that holds your head in place, there is a red discoloration. What could this be? It could be settling of the blood from decomposition or from lividity, cooling of the blood. The body has been kind of put on its back and transported to Washington, D.C. So that could be that. It could also be
Trust me, I don't think I know more than you on this, Dr. Kendall Crowns.
Not fully clothed.
But you got me drinking out of the fire hydrant. You're giving me so much information.
No. So Nolan was found with only his shorts on. The blue shorts that you see in the picture that day with his friends. And his shoes were off. He did not have shoes on. Don't know. We don't know. Yeah. He was face down. He sure was. He was face down. Now, which is interesting to me, that he's face down and he still has some bruising back here, allegedly, according to the second autopsy. When we die, for instance, Marilyn Monroe, she was found face down. And when your heart stops beating, gravity takes over and all of the blood will go to pool at one side of the body. And you will be very blotchy on that side, right? So Marilyn, she was found face down. And her face was very, very blotchy whenever she was found. So Nolan was found face down too, and that means the blood would have pooled more toward his face. And so it makes me question about back here. Now, I'm sure after he was found, he was laid on his back and all that, but there had already been an autopsy. But there had, if you don't embalm someone very quickly, nature takes over. And the decay process happens very quickly. But nonetheless, they can't really determine, what's going on back there. Justin, he may have been on his back first, then the blood pulled to the back, and then maybe the next day he was rolled face down. Well, he was found face down, if that's what I mean. Being face down don't mean he was face down when he died. He could have been correct, but it means once his heart stopped, he could have been moved within that time, but it's highly unlikely. He probably died generally the way he was left, right? So, whenever you're embalming somebody, this may be TMI, trigger warning if you're kind of creeped out by this kind of stuff, but we use different embalming fluids. It depends on if you're male or if you're female. Just for the color, a male has more of a red tone, and it's like a red tone embalming fluid, and a female is a pink embalming fluid for more rosy, to create more lifelike. But when you're embalming, you will turn a lot of different colors as the the blood is leaving you, and it's recirculating the embalming fluid.
I had to break in right there because you said I'm going to quote, posterior red discoloration in deep soft tissue overlying occipital. Deep soft tissue. To a layperson like me, that means it's a deep.
Every time Nancy has this guy on, he is incredibly intelligent and he always explains it very well, but he always looks the same. He's always giving this look to Nancy. I can't do it, but he just keeps the same look.
Below the skin, and you just stated that could be from the settling of the blood. In other words, if he were lying on his back when he died, the blood would settle to the back of his head. But isn't it true to you, Brian Trasher, Vice President, United Cajun Navy?
Thank you, peace.
The Navy participated in the search, and I got to clear up that whole thing about fully clothed with you.
Yeah, because that was very important. What do you mean a pink butterfly? Lady I knew died with her head in lap. Oh, like hunched over, had a closed casket. Her face was purple. She might have been there a long time, but usually you can get that collar out. You just have to work really hard at it, if you get my drift. They said he was face down when the second guy received him for autopsy. Not sure if that's true. I haven't heard that since. I think he was found face down. I wouldn't assume that they would have sent him for the autopsy face down. That would be really weird. I think he was hit in the back of the head with an object, and possibly he was strangled or his neck was broken. Well, it's weird. This is weird.
That said, isn't it true? And I'm looking at the picture on my phone that I got from an undisclosed source. I'm looking at Nolan's body on the beach. We are not showing it. He's face down, isn't he?
There you go.
Yes.
So just
correct.
listen to that again.
Looking phone that I got from an undisclosed source. I'm looking at Nolan's body on the beach. We are not showing it. He's face down, isn't he?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. He was, when we flew
Okay, I'm
over,
going to come back to you about the clothing.
Yeah.
What? Repeat?
No, I said when we observed him from the air, yeah, he was face down and he was wearing swim trunks and only swim trunks. I think that the term fully clothed just got taken out of context.
Well, when you look at the body.
Sure. I mean, the lawyer, they're always going to argue for their client.
From high up, it appears at first like he had on a shirt with swim trunks, but he does not have on a shirt. He only has on swim trunks. That's a whole peripheral issue. But back to Dr. Kendall Crowns. So Dr. Kendall Crowns, you may have an explanation for this. I've already thought of one, and I'm not a medical examiner, but I don't see how the deep red, I'm talking about, was there a blow to the back of the head? Did he fall off a boat? Did he hit his head on something else? If it turns out he drowned, how did he get in the water? Why was he in the water? Why did everybody leave him? Lots of questions tonight. But if he was found face down, the blood would not have settled to the back of his occipital.
There you go, Nancy. There you go.
Well, that's correct at the initial autopsy, but he was also transported to Washington, D.C. on his back, I assume, not on his face. And so after death, you can still have pooling of the blood in the dependent areas if the lividity is not fixed, or even if it is fixed, you can have pooling. So it is difficult to say without seeing the actual red.
He's right. He's right. But it would, as 3 funeral homes that I've worked at, it would be a question for me to be like, something's not right there.
In the area in the deep soft tissue,
in my opinion,
whether this is just a decompositional artifact or if it's indeed blunt force trauma. Now, they're not describing any injuries to the skin surface, which would still be there if he was, even if he's decomposed, you would still see injuries, abrasions, bruises, lacerations, things of that nature, even with decomposition. So it's difficult to give significance to this deep red area in the musculature of the deep soft tissues of the back of the head without further photographs or more information. To me, could it be blunt force trauma? Yes. Could it be a decompositional artifact? Yes. Could it be something from transport? Yes. Hard to say at this point.
Okay.
No, the second autopsy, they did not have the lungs or the airway structures to make a decision. They didn't have the lungs or the airway, the bronchos or anything. So you can't really tell if you don't have it, right?
Hold on. Let me just take each one of those. And the rest of the panel, please, if you've got a question or a point, jump in. We need all of your brain power.
He was missing ICU from July 4th to July 6th.
That's an open invitation to Mobley to jump in. But 3 things you said, that there could still be pooling of the blood. And I don't want to be too DEFCON 4 into this and get lost in the weeds, but Nolan is dead. He's already been autopsied. Days have passed, and you're telling me that the blood could still sift down from the front of his face to the back of his neck in one specific area. Why wasn't it pulling all the way down his neck? Or why just that one area? I don't believe that when you have been deceased that long.
Now, I don't know what he's going to say because I haven't seen this part, but Nancy is speaking human being logical thought right here. And she's absolutely right, in my opinion, based on what I've seen. Nancy, she's obviously prosecuted, she's a prosecutor, talked to a lot of medical examiners. She knows her stuff. And I absolutely agree with her here. Why is it just in that one spot? Now, he's going to give you the doctor answer, probably the more neutral answer to this, but I absolutely agree with Nancy here.
You've already undergone autopsy. They've drained the blood from your body. That somehow in the few hours of transport, you're going to get pooling of the blood to one area in the back of your neck.
So first off, it's not a few hours of transport. It's from whenever the autopsy ended. He's placed on his back. Whenever he's picked up at the scene, he's been placed on his back. So all that comes into play. They don't drain all the blood from the body at autopsy. There's still blood in the body after autopsy. And also decomposition causes the breakdown of tissues, including musculature, which can give a reddish decoloration from the actual decomposition process of the muscle. So all these have to be considered when you're saying a reddened area, because the doctor...
I mean, they're technically both right. They're technically absolutely both right. I completely get Nancy's, side, because she's seen it with her own eyes. I've seen it literally with my own eyes. And it would be a question like, this is really weird. I don't care if he was transported or not. This is already his second autopsy. So it would be a question. You sent me something. Okay, I'll look. Did you text it or did you email it?
Didn't call it hemorrhage, which is interesting to me.
Gotcha.
He called it a reddened area. So I don't know what he's describing. I would love to see pictures, but again, there's no description of a bruise or an abrasion or a laceration on the skin surface of the back of the head. So what the significance of this is? Could it be a decompositional change? Could it be something else like blunt force injury? It's hard to say at this point in time.
I find it very difficult to believe, Dr. Kendall Crowns, that not one, but two medical examiners cannot figure out why he had deep red subcutaneous markings. Subcutaneous, what is that? Deep subcutaneous, what is that?
It's underneath the skin, meaning in the fat or the muscle underneath the skin.
Okay. Straight out to John Mobley joining me out of Charleston. He's a renowned trial attorney, founded John Mobley Law Firm. Okay, Mobley, have at it.
Well, Nancy, I got to call it like I see it. There are a lot of things that
Charmy, when you say that, do you mean when he was found, or what do you mean when you say that?
Like about this presentation, I think the first problem I see is they put out this autopsy and they kind of gave you a lot of sizzle. They gave a big dog and pony show, but they didn't really make it clear on the findings and conclusions and how they could be interpreted. And I think that's kind of the problem with this case. They put all this stuff out there, all the legal terms, all this, forensic jargon, and now everybody's whipped up in a frenzy trying to understand what it means, speculating, guessing, and the reality is, unless you're
such a handsome young man, had his whole life ahead of him. Look at this video right here.
Expert, a forensic expert, none of us are qualified to interpret those findings. Now, I've been involved in countless homicide cases where I've had to look at forensic autopsies and discuss the findings with experts. And that's what you have to do. And ultimately what it comes down to is they put this thing out there, this preliminary autopsy finding, and they did not present any real conclusions. And that is a problem. And to address your specific concern, Nancy,
Put up Mobley. Put up Mobley. Listen, I'm not vouching for the character of Crump or Sharpton. That said, of course, are you saying they were wrong not to put it out there? I think they were right to put it out there.
Of course they were.
Whether it's inconclusive or not.
The manner in which they presented
Okay, what do you mean by that?
He just sat there and read it. And number one.
Oh, come on now. He's fighting for his clients, dude.
I don't think he was the best person to read it. He's just kind of reading off medical and terms.
Well, he's not a medical examiner.
The best job of pronouncing. And they didn't really.
He's an attorney. He's not a medical examiner.
Really present a conclusive finding. And what that does is,
Well, there
when you
is
take
no
a case
conclusive
like
finding, Mobley.
well, he should have said that, because what he does, though, in the manner which is presented, when you take a case like this, you take little bits and pieces and put them out there in that manner, what you're doing is you're feeding these conspiracy theories like, oh my God, there's some big mystery, some conspiracy about what happened, regarding saying, hey, here's the deal.
Well, no. I disagree. They're saying they don't know what happened, but you have to admit, from the reason this has made such the big story that it is because there are some things that are very weird about this, right? If everything just checked out and seemed fine, it wouldn't be a story. There's obviously some things with the timeline and the phone and everything else it seems a little weird, in my opinion.
Situations like this, based on the rate of decomposition, things like that.
Don't you get it, man? We still don't have the answer. I don't have the answer. He's got a red mark deep in subcutaneous tissue on the back of his head. Wait,
here's a
go
problem.
back to Kendall Krause real quick.
I want to address that.
So, and this is a very sensitive part right here, right? This is the base of your spine, right? And your brain and your spine meet. So anybody's gonna have fucking questions right there.
Kendall.
I mean, it'd be one thing if he had a bruise on his leg, but your brain stem, that's a whole nother thing.
Where's Kendall? Why am I not seeing Kendall? Kendall, please turn around and show everybody what we're talking about, because I'm doing this. Show me occipital.
Occipital's right here. Back ahead.
How
right where your neck
the world, out of his whole body, is that where the blood pools? I'm not buying it. And I'm not saying this is a homicide. I am saying it. There are a lot of disturbing circumstances surrounding this young man, the star athlete's death, and I am not letting it go. And I don't care how much hate mail you send me. I do not care. Okay, Mobley, what else?
What I want to state is that, and this is based on my experience being involved in numerous homicides, having examined numerous autopsies and discussed the case and the findings with numerous forensic pathologists. When you have a body, a human individual, okay, that person has experienced trauma in various physical trauma in various aspects of their life. They just had a picture of him being wearing a football uniform. He can sustain injuries playing football, in practice, horse around with his friends. So, a person can die and have different injuries that pre-existed the date of the death that are completely unrelated to the death, but they are there on the body because they're
He's got to be a defense attorney.
And that's my whole point about your fixation on the injury to the back of the head. I'm not saying that it was necessarily predated the injury, but there's got to be some medical evidence to tie it to his death. And there is not, because they can't do that. They cannot date that injury.
Okay, guys, you're hearing Mobley. I just lost a satellite. Get that back up for me. In the meantime, let me hear Crump talking about part of the neck structures and specifically the anterior, where that, I'm going to call it bruising. I'll call it a reddened.
Sorry, I was muted. I understand what the guy is saying, and yeah, he is right. But nobody can make a conclusion right now. Nobody can make a conclusion right now because so far, 2 medical examiners haven't been able to make a conclusion either. Right? Oh, Deborah. I filmed with Nancy once, and it was the filming thing that day was really bad. It was really there was a lot of tech issues that day, and it was bad.
The area, because we don't know what it was, were absent from the body? What happened to that part of the body? Listen to Crump.
So when they're buried, their remains will all be with them. But in this occasion, if there's going to be a second autopsy, then the organs are put in the body cavity so the second pathologist could be able to examine the organs as well. Very significant for Dr. Mitchell was that the anterior inner neck structures were absent, not received with the body.
From our friends at NAACP. Okay, back to you, Kendall Crowns. And hello, I've got an all-star panel. Where are they? Did they lose their voices? Dr. Kendall Crowns, wouldn't it be important for the second medical examiner, second doctor, to be able to look at the anterior neck structure? They're absent and not received from the body, not received with the body.
Yes.
That's correct. So it would be important, and that's often the problem with second autopsy is structures are kept by the initial medical examiner for further testing or further evaluation. So the second autopsy is often limited by this. So the problem is the neck structures we're talking about, hyoid bone, thyroid cartilage, laryngeal structures, are the structures that are often involved with strangulation. They can be taken by a medical examiner, dissected, evaluated for fractures or injuries or something of that nature, but then they're kept and they are also then further evaluated by a forensic anthropologist who will look for microfractures and things like that to see if there's any trauma whatsoever. And that's probably what's occurring in this case is they're doing their due diligence and looking at all those neck structures to rule out the possibility of a strangulation, and they haven't done it yet. And that's why they're still pending.
Yeah, there would still be blood in your body. Even when you're embalmed, you still have blood in your body. You don't have near as much, but you never get all the blood out of someone's body. And I mean, unless you're really embalmed, which most people don't do anyways, so.
And that's why the second examination can't give you more facts, because they don't have those structures to look at. Hopefully there will be sharing between the two medical examiners so they can both come to the same conclusion at some point. But right now, those structures are being evaluated by someone else and not available for the second autopsy.
You're right, Donna, but it's going to take a while. It's going to take a long ass while to get the results back from the first autopsy with the neck bones and all that. Now it is going to a grand jury, and we'll see what the grand jury says, right? Tori, thank you so much. I missed that earlier. I apologize. Thank you so much, my dear. And Kiki, thank you so much, honey. I appreciate you. I missed that. Good to see you. Appreciate you. Yes, to see if those bones had abnormal fractures, not natural fractures, but forced fractures. Yeah, they'll look for micro tears and all of that.
I want to talk to you about what you just said. If I see deep reddening of the tissue in the back of the neck, I'm going to quit calling it the occipital, the back of the neck, at the lower part of the head. I want to know what happened up here. I want to know, was the hyoid bone, which is very fragile, it's not attached to anything, it's kind of floating there. And often in ligature manual, any type of strangulation or stopping your airflow, you'll see that very delicate bone fractured. It's gone. Where is it? Everybody's got one, so where is it? Also, Crump stated that the portion of the neck, the interior portion of the neck that will...
It's more like, think of it as what a strangulation calls the blood in the back of the head. It wouldn't cause blood in the back of the head. Think of it more as a bruising in the back, if you will. And you can tell specifically after someone dies. But it's the the blood flow will go to the, how do I say, the bruising area, if you will, if they're the way they're laying, depends on the way they're laying, of course,
correspond with the hemorrhaging in the back is missing. There are two ways to look at this. One is that it's missing because it's been hidden. It's being withheld from the second doctor. Why? The other way to look at it is what you suggested, Kendall Crowns,
sorry,
and that
baby
is that
kisses. That's terrible.
I've seen this done.
So sorry, it's tragic.
The way that medical examiners and medical related forensic anthropologists do it, they get a tiny cut of that tissue. They put that under a microscope and they look to see if cells have bruising.
Yes.
It's very painstaking. Could they be doing that? I don't know. But it seems to me they would have included that in their notations, that these portions of Nolan's body had been withheld for further testing, but we didn't hear anything about that. Straight out to Sam Crouppen.
I mean, could it, Linda? These things normally happen after someone dies, post-mortem.
Joining us, investigative journalist and star of Samson's World. Sam, did you hear anything about water in the lungs?
No, Nancy, I've heard nothing about water in the lungs.
Very
and honestly, I've just been sitting here infuriated that everybody is putting so much pressure on this second autopsy that thankfully Colin Kaepernick paid for. But why are we not putting pressure on Sheriff John Ledbetter? Where is the first autopsy? Why have they held it out? There is a video of two nurses who claim to have...
Exactly. Listen to this. Exactly. Why is everyone putting, I mean, let's talk about the first autopsy. Let's really talk about that. Why don't you release some of the information on that? Listen.
Why have they held it out? There is a video of two nurses who claim to have seen the transport of this body, and they said he was face down. So it's honestly, for me, it's just video of the first autopsy. Why have they held it out? There is a video of two nurses who claim to have seen the transport of this body, and they said he was face down. So it's honestly...
That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. Two nurses are saying that they seen this autopsy. Sorry, not the autopsy. The transport. When he was transported and he was face down? Why would they transport him face down? I've never seen anybody transported face down. Well, these are nurses' accounts piece.
For me, it's just where is the first autopsy? Why have they held it out? There is a video of two nurses who claim to have seen the transport of this body, and they said he was face down. So it's honestly, for me, it's just disgusting to see
from the first medical examiner in Mississippi to Maryland.
Lack of understanding, people commenting on how Ben Crump is reading, people saying Ben Crump is a race hustler. Like, he's the person who's responsible for justice for Ahmaud Arbery, who was killed by 3 racist people, and it was covered up. Stacey Turner, the medical examiner, is well known for the death of Trey Reed, ruling it a homicide. She is known for ruling black deaths. She is known. Stacey Turner.
Do I look like a witch stirring a cauldron tonight? I don't really see myself that way. Do not stir the pot, Crouppen, because this is not about politics. This is not what somebody did a long time ago in another case.
I agree.
This is about what we are learning tonight. Yes, and my question is, where's the original autopsy? My guess is that they are waiting on the results that Dr. Kilman Crowns just...
Who's the nurses? Have the nurses came out and done interviews? Does anyone know if the nurses have came out and did interviews?
Talked about and more. Hey, simmer down. I want to get to the facts of this case. I want to go back to Brian Trasher on that. Heather, I'm going to get to you in just one moment regarding the tracking of the phone and the Snapchat and all the digital footprint. But to you, Brian,
I don't give a damn about TikTok.
Let me pull it back up. We are not showing this photo. Do not show it, control room. Brian, again, United Cajun Navy searched for and spotted Nolan's body. Tell me what was seen. Let's see some of that aerial video.
The nurses were TikTokers.
Yeah, so we were flying over the northwest tip of Horn Island after about 2 hours in the air, canvassing a pretty large area. When we noticed some law enforcement boats converging to the northwest tip, we descended, circled around, and saw a number of law enforcement personnel on the beach, and then you could see a body laying at the shoreline. Of course, using a zoom lens to go in, we could see that the body matched the description of Nolan Wells. The whole thing about Ben Crump mentioning that we told the parents he was fully clothed, that's not true. We never told the parents that. He was wearing just the swim trunks that matched the description that in the missing persons report, and it matched the photos that were taken of him that day. And that was all he was presumed. That's
Hold
all
on
he
one
was wearing.
sec. Brian, I want to show some video. Oh, there it is. I hope you can see your monitor. That is from our friends over at TMZ. It's the video that I believe is Nolan Wells. And I can tell you from looking at the aerial photo, I've zoomed in on it, those appear to be...
That pisses me off. Like, people say, like, why the hell would you say... Why would you lie? Why do people lie when things like this? Like, these are human beings. Like, your opinion is one thing, but don't say you saw something and you didn't see it. Some alleged TikTok nurses.
Same pants that he was wearing when his body was found. His body looks like it just washed up on shore.
Right.
Now,
that's correct.
Regarding COD, yeah, when you look at it way up, it looks like he's wearing a shirt. But when you zoom in, you see he's not wearing a shirt, nor is he wearing shoes. More zero and morgue, so much more. Lecturer, certain cases, and I learned this on an arson case. COD, cause of death, manner of death, as well, MOD, can also be determined at times based on what we call extrinsic evidence. For instance, in the arson case I'm talking about, the evidence that the perp checked the weather station, the weather report for the day the arson went down, killed his wife, that he moved out all of his nice suits and family photos of his family, not his wife's family.
I think they mean sunburn.
All of his important tax documents, everything out of the house.
They get way too conspiracy.
The day before the arson in which his wife was killed. Also, he called his insurance company and asked, hey, if I have a fire in my home, will you cover rental furniture? And then his house burned down the next day. The medical examiner looked at that evidence as well when determining MOD had been homicide. Isn't it true, Leslie, my question, that...
hey, Leslie, I had to remove that comment because the SHOTING, I can't make sure you, we put it in chat or something. YouTube, they're so sensitive now with that word. I showed an FBI photo or video of and they got me, so I just be
A medical examiner will look at extrinsic evidence as well as what they see on the body itself.
Yes.
I mean, that seems very weird to me. Yeah. I mean, if he was actually transported. Oh, you're fine, Leslie, baby. You're fine, baby. But being transported on your face, I can't imagine. But I've also seen, which I don't think it in this case, but I've also seen like people do organ donation, and they've just been very disrespectful to the person that they were receiving the organs, that was the donor. And I'm just like, so, you know, some people, I guess, I don't know. I doubt it that they would do it in this case because it's such a high profile case, meaning, you know, they would be respectful with him. But I've seen it really bad.
All evidence is
really
considered in an autopsy. You can't autopsy in a
I doubt it
vacuum
if he was face down
with no
when he was
investigative
sent.
information, no toxicologic findings. All you have is autopsy findings. You can make mistakes in not coming to the
Same
right
nurse?
conclusions about cause of death and really manner of death. So those findings are important. And in the case you used, it's evidence that he had a plan, that he was taking actions to eliminate his wife, light his house on fire. That would play in the role into it as far as arson. The arson investigation would be helpful. All that would be given to the medical examiner because the autopsy would show the individual died in a fire. And that's all the information.
I'm just saying, I'm not talking about donating organs or anything like that. I'm talking about, I've seen organ donators where surgeons, funeral directors, if you will, have left, well, really the surgeons, left them in a really bad state once they get to the funeral home. Obviously, you can't donate your organs if you've been on an island for 36 hours and you are in a investigation, right?
I would be able to tell you without that investigative information. I wouldn't be able to tell you whether it was a homicide, suicide, accident, not natural, of course, because it's a fire. But again, investigative information is very important. And that is also probably why the Mississippi medical examiner is still taking their time. And even the DC medical examiner said more investigative information
Dr.
is
Kendall
needed.
Crowns, again,
Both of them
you're
are
the
saying
expert,
that.
not me. But let me just cut you off right there because the answer to that was yes, you do consider extrinsic evidence. That said, listen to this.
I don't think that
I love Nancy.
Nolan would say, hey, bro, I'm staying with this girl on the island. Y'all go ahead and go back.
I'm obsessed.
Like, not even asking to get his phone back. You know what I mean? I've never known Nolan to stay back while his friends leave. He's always been a guy where if he rode with you, he's going to come back with you. That's always how he's been every single time.
For Christine, it said one place, but for them on Snapchat, it showed another place. So that's the place we went to. And it showed that everybody that was in the house, it was like a lot of people there. So that's how we knew where to go to. We went there. They were all there. They were sitting there, lights off, watching TV. They did. They gave me the phone, but it took about 15 minutes to get the phone because I even asked, I'm like, did y'all have to walk back to Horn Island to get the phone? Or like, where's the phone? Because it took so long when they said it was when Wyatt told me it was in his truck. It took him so long to get the phone back to me.
You are seeing friends of the Wells' family speaking on Laura Coates Live. Okay,
The phone
I
is
want to talk about the
bothering-
phone issue.
bothersome.
And again, I don't want Nolan to be dead at all. I want this to be an accidental death.
Nudge.
But I am not turning a blind eye to concerning aspects of this
I got it.
investigation. In the end, it may turn out to be accidental.
I got it.
But why would you leave Nolan there? Why?
And this is the whole problem with this, right? Like the best case scenario is this is an absolutely accident, just some strange things that we're not privy to at this time. It all doesn't make sense. But again, why would you leave Nolan there? This is the 4th of July weekend. You don't leave others there, especially that age, and there's alcohol involved and probably drugs and that many people there and the whole phone thing, and there's just a lot of questions. So funny.
Why would you say your boat was sinking and then take multiple more trips in the boat that night?
That's exactly right. My boat's sinking. Let me take a couple more trips in my boat that night. Come on, folks. Like you got some good explaining to do.
According to reports, so many of the facts are not lining up. But first, let's start with a digital footprint. To Dave Mack joining us, Crime Stories investigative reporter. What are they saying about the phone?
Well, the family says that when they were able to finally retrieve the phone, okay, they get there to get the phone back and have to wait 15 minutes outside while the young people who had the phone for some reason took their time getting it to them. And when they got
I don't see that as a problem.
No, well,
I don't see that as a problem. They're teen boys. They got to go outside and they've got to get the phone out of the truck. What I see as the problem is the phone is there and he's somewhere else.
Well,
who leaves their phone behind? Who leaves their phone behind when they're on a desert island?
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Why would you leave your phone behind? Now you could say, well, he forgot it, all of that. But then you could say, all right, was he that intoxicated and you guys left him with that intoxicated? And your boat was sinking out of all the fucking nights. Out of all the nights, the boat was sinking that night. The night your friend, is found dead. But then you go out and you take a couple more trips. I mean, I don't give a damn. Any human being would not be okay with these answers. You would not be okay with it. Just put yourself in their shoes. I'm guessing he was too drunk to care about his phone. You might say that, but you shouldn't leave your friends behind either.
Stranded on an island, why would you go without your phone? That's what sparked my interest, Dave Mack.
I'm sorry. I misunderstood where you were headed with it, but here's the catcher is that Nolan was always taking pictures, Nancy. And so the part about this that really gets home is that, he always had his phone to take pictures and was always uploading. He was very active in those pictures being published online.
Most kids are his age.
And when the family actually got his phone, it had been cleaned. There was no Instagram or Snapchat.
He was very active, as most, kids his age are on Instagram and Snapchat. Listen, I'm 40 years old, and if I don't have my phone on me at all times, I almost feel like a body part fell off. You know what I mean? Like it's part of me, right? It's always in my pocket if I'm not on it. So, and I don't Snapchat or, like that or anything. So this generation, I mean, you just don't forget your phone.
That had been removed. It was gone.
Wait, hold on. Let me understand something, Dave Mack. You say there was no Snapchat, no Insta. It was gone. You mean it was all gone or just gone for that day?
Just for that day, Nancy. They suspect that based on that other messages or media may have also been deleted.
Okay. All right. That's all I want to hear right now, Dave Mack. I'm going to an expert that knows more than me and you put together, Dave. Heather Barnhart is with us, digital forensics expert with Celebrite.
I love Heather.
And the SANS Institute,
She's
one of the digital
brilliant.
forensic investigators in the Koberger case that cracked that.
They need to let her get on the Nancy Guthrie case. Heather, she and her husband are brilliant.
Wide open. She is co-author of Practical Mobile Forensics in its 4th edition, which means a lot of people are using it to teach and reading it. Her blog, smarterforensics.com. I could go on. Heather Barnhart, thank you for being with us tonight. Number one, can you look at a phone and determine if items were deleted?
Absolutely. And Nancy, here's a huge thing to think about. I assume his phone had a password. There are certain things that you need the password to do, such as delete activity.
Yes.
But if you don't have a password and you picked up your phone, if you're touching the screen, that leaves a trace.
Yes.
If you're trying to power it off, that leaves
Every stroke you make on your phone, if you are just lighting your phone up, they can tell. They can tell. The keystrokes, everything, whether how many times you've tried to get in that phone and failed, if it was powered down, if it was turned on, if the Wi-Fi was turned on, if the Wi-Fi was turned off, all of that, they can find out.
the trace. So we should be able to see people without a password trying to actively interact with that phone, as well as someone that has it.
So how can you look at a phone, Heather Barnhart, and determine the difference between no photos were taken that day? Also, can you take photos even if you don't have reception? I think you can, but I'm not an expert.
Very much.
How can you look at a phone and determine no photos were taken that day as opposed to items were deleted? Because can't you delete from the deleted file?
Yes, you can do everything you just talked
hold on.
about. But again, all of that leaves a trace. So we would do a forensic acquisition, and that's really important here. Someone just looking in the phone, you can get a glimpse, but you can't see what's deleted and hiding below the surface. We need a forensic acquisition to do that. We can tell if it was just soft deleted, so like sitting in a trash can, or
Well, I think there wasn't any activity of him snapping past a certain point, either that day or at all that day, which is just really rare. Maybe all their text is deleted. Well, they're hopefully going to find
a
out.
hard delete. So if you empty your trash on your phone and then you go and throw it into a dumpster and the trash is taken away, there is a log that tracks everything. Also with timestamps on when that activity occurred.
Okay, I need that broken down in regular people talk. We're not all experts. Could you say that so everybody can understand?
Yeah. So let's say Nolan had an iPhone. He could take pictures without cell service at all. Cell service and Wi-Fi do not matter.
Right.
He could even post them to Instagram or to Snapchat, and they'll sit in a temporary directory until he has service. Sometimes
Right. You don't need your phone at all to take. I mean, you don't need service. You don't need cell phone service or Wi-Fi to take a picture. Right. Now, like she said, you can try to upload it to Facebook. It'll just sit there temporarily until you get cell phone service or Wi-Fi service for it to upload to the database, whichever one you're sending it to: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, text message, whatever.
that fails, but we still see that activity when we do forensics. If you delete a picture, Nancy, it sits in a recycle bin on your iPhone, and you can recover that for about 30 to 40 days as a normal user. If you empty that trash, it's not recoverable, but we doing forensics can still find it.
They can, yeah. Most of the time they can still find it. That's the kind of like, is the difficult to solve ones. Once they make it to court and stuff, I'm interested, but I don't really like to cover the court stuff or anything like that. I like the putting it together.
Okay, so you mean it's not recoverable for me, a layperson, but you can recover it. Even the pictures, even the content of the text or snaps, you can recover that?
If you get a full file system acquisition, and I realize that's really nerdy, but this is where acquisition and time to evidence matters.
That's okay. Talk nerdy to us.
Deleted data exists and sits there for a period of time. So time to evidence is everything here.
How long will it sit there?
If it's an iPhone, it's a little bit different than Android. iPhone, Apple's more forgiving and you have about 30 days. With Android, you could have just a few days until location artifacts are purged.
You mean, okay, a few days, do you mean 1 day, 2 days, 10 days?
It could be between 1 and 7 on Android. But with iPhone, it's typically about 7 to 30 days.
7 we're safe. 1 we're not safe. Okay. And what I'm referring to is if he did have an Android, can I recover if there were photos, snaps,
really
texts
smart.
deleted? That's what I'm trying to find out. Because if somebody's deleting texts and emails and snaps and pictures, I got a problem. Why delete? That is my problem. Now, here's my next question. I'm sure I'm going to say it very inarticulately, but I think you'll know what I mean. Even if you cannot recover, let's pretend it was an Android. Even if you cannot recover the actual item itself, can you see a log that says something was deleted?
Yes, but it depends on the activity. So Snapchat will be tracked different.
Sorry, I was muted. What did she say?
Even if you cannot recover the actual item itself, can you see a log that says something was deleted?
Yes, but it depends on the activity. So Snapchat will be tracked differently than a regular photo versus a regular text message. But deep dive forensics will recover the truth. And you mentioned Brian Koberger. There was nothing. All that data was cleaned up and deleted, but the lack of data and the time on when it was removed was huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes the no answer is the answer, right? Sometimes it's just the circumstances of the date and the specific time of there being nothing is a big answer in itself.
In the investigation, and that could be huge on proving the last time Nolan actually used his device versus people taking steps with it and walking around with it when it was out of his possession.
Okay.
But it was
number
on a boat.
1, you're brilliant. Number 2.
So, like his phone was on the boat. Do we have any idea if it was powered on? Well, yeah, we would, because it would have had to been. Hold on. Wait a second. So his phone had to be powered on while it was on the boat going back to the house. Right. Because his mom she had the Life 360 and they found his phone at the friend's house. You know, the friends didn't say anything. So the phones, the kids, you know, didn't turn it off while they were traveling on the boat. You would think, at least. Because mom knew it was at the friend's house.
Regarding Snap being in one place, Life 360 being in another place, what can you tell me about that?
Think of each application as having its own folder or a container. So all the things you do in that application exist in that container. A full deletion would be throwing that container away. So nothing's there. Sporadic deletion would be removing one thing at a time or deleting a most recent story or a post. And that stands out drastically to forensic examiners because it's
Hold on, what'd she say?
so nothing's there. Sporadic deletion would be removing one thing at a time or deleting a most recent story or a post. And that stands out drastically to forensic examiners because it's uncommon behavior based upon what Nolan would typically do on his device.
Straight out to Sam Crouppen joining us, investigative journalist, star of Simpson's World. You have thoughts on the phone?
Yeah, Nancy, here's the thing. Everybody keeps saying that you keep your phone on the boat when you go into the water. We can all agree that makes sense. But what doesn't make sense is when his friends leave him, he's not going to not get his phone to take with him. Who in their right mind would get stuck on an island without their phone? It makes zero.
I don't think the video was him asking for his phone. I don't think that's been proven though, right? Hold on a second. I want to hear something again.
But what doesn't make sense is when his friends leave him.
Forensic examiners, his device.
Straight out to Sam Crouppen joining us, investigative journalist, star of Simpson's World. You have thoughts on the phone?
Yeah, Nancy, here's the thing. Everybody keeps saying that you keep your phone on the boat when you go into the water. We can all agree that makes sense. But what doesn't make sense is when his friends leave him, he's not going to not get his phone to take with him. Who in their right mind would get stuck on an island without their phone? It makes zero sense to me at all. And then also the fact that all of his friends deleted all their social media accounts. They haven't spoken to anybody. As far as I know, they didn't even go to the funeral. It makes people believe that they are hiding something.
So, you know, I mean, nothing is perfect in life. And I do think, trying to play devil's advocate here, you know, were they on the boat the whole time? Did they, you know, I'm sure that they docked and was on the island there for a while, right? And if you're on the island, wouldn't you take your phone? A comment, the boys didn't ask him why he didn't take his phone.
Our next sponsor, well, Crouppen has it. It would be over my cold dead body that I would let a boat leave with my phone and my keys and my everything. Okay, let's.
I just cannot imagine him leaving everything. Like, he would have to be so out of it to leave everything, in my opinion. At the very least, they weren't being very good friends, in my opinion.
Listen to this.
He said, "Hey, Miss Christine, have you seen Nolan or talked to Nolan?" I said, "No, I thought he was with you guys, you know." He's like, "No, nobody's talked to him. We left the island at, I think he said 3 p.m. and he wanted to stay because he was talking to a girl named Katie. Katie is also missing. No one can find her." And the explanation of no one knows this Katie, like we've never met her type of deal.
How would they know Katie's?
Okay. So, first of all, I've never seen this video right here, what this is going to say. But how would they know who Katie is if they've never met her or anybody ever met her on the boat, number one? Number two, did it just so happen this is Gilligan's Island here, and Katie and Nolan just landed on the same island on July 4th? Was this a pre-planned thing that Katie was just going to be on that island too? If so, why didn't they go to freaking together? Not buying it. See what
This Katie, like we've never met her type of deal.
How would they know Katie's missing if they didn't even know who Katie was?
That's true too.
So then,
yeah, exactly. How would they know she's missing if they didn't know who Katie was to begin with? I thought that they found out who Katie was. Am I wrong? Katie had a conversation and assumed that Nolan was getting ready to get on the boat. He came out in. Okay. Katie made it home because she was on another boat with different people. Katie was safe because my brother and sister-in-law went and got her. Katie assumed the friends, in quote, telling him to get on the boat wouldn't have left him. Me and my family have talked, called, and are sending up prayers to bring Nolan home.
Katie's sister chimed in. Katie made it home because she was on another boat and with different people. Katie assumed the friends telling him to get on the boat wouldn't have left him. So the question is, where was Nolan after the interaction of Katie? Did Katie see him get on that boat?
From our friends at NBC and the real TikTok detective there at the inn who said it so eloquently, more questions spinning out because of the phone. Why was it on the boat? Why did he let the boat leave without it? And speaking of the boat, listen to this.
So first, at 9:56 a.m., the boat leaves the original dock. It arrives at Horn Island at 11:14. So at around 4 o'clock, there is a call to the Coast Guard about the boat. NBC News got a hold of it.
We're sinking. Can you all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Everybody's on board. So does that mean Nolan?
That's a good point, right? Yeah, everybody's on board. Well, I mean, you can take that two different ways. Yeah, everybody's on board. That's been on the boat, that was on the boat, but Nolan, wasn't part of the crew coming back. So, you could take that however you want it.
Is on there? Who was on that boat?
Okay, there are innocent explanations for that, and
So, the Katie gal, she is 19-year-old Katie McCormick. She is obviously not missing. And she was identified and spoken with. She was the one that was reportedly with Nolan on Horn Island. Katie's sister, Gracie McCormick, said Katie spoke with Nolan but believed he was going back to the mainland with the original group. Gracie also said that their family provided the information they had to Nolan's mother and the authorities. Ben Crump later publicly described the conflict as Nolan's friends reportedly said he stayed behind to be with Katie, the guys, while Katie accounts that Nolan indicated he was returning to the boat. Crump said those versions need to be reconciled. And you're damn right. Dispatch did ask how many on board. Ooh, I did not know that. Interesting. I did not know that. They said 7 on the boat. Okay.
Are nefarious explanations for that. But I do know this. They stated the boat was sinking. But was it?
At 4:31, the boat leaves Horn Island and it is towed approximately 3 miles, and then the tow ends.
Now
So
listen,
after 3
right here.
miles, they go back to the original dock, okay? They arrive at 5:44 p.m. So it looks like this is where Horn Island is, and this is where the original dock is that I am referring to. I looked it up, and El Camino Real Road is in Gulf Hills, Mississippi, which is right above Ocean Springs. So I'm wondering if this is the house where they got the phone. The boat travels to Fort Bayou. At 6:06, the boat returns to the original dock. Then from the original dock, the boat goes back to Fort Bayou, and then they go to the boat launch, and it is put onto the trailer and moved by the vehicle.
Why are they moving around if this boat needs to be towed?
They drop people off at the original dock, travel to Fort Bayou, pick somebody up, and go back to that original dock. And then from there, why was there an hour and 13-minute time gap? This boat was sinking hours before, and then they're just having it docked for an hour and 13 minutes. You would think they'd want to get that boat out of the water ASAP.
You're exactly right. We're going to come right back to this. I want to listen to this transcript because he says, this is odd. Because this transcript, they get back and they say how many people's on board, and they say like 7. Like 7. I don't like that. I don't like that speech on there. My boat's sinking. Hear his panicked emergency call. My boat sinking off Horn Island. And let's be honest, it clearly was not sinking, right? It wasn't sinking. They towed it. You can't tow a sinking boat, can you?
Detail assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please?
You can tell he's very intoxicated. Yeah, you can tell he's very intoxicated right here. I believe they fixed the plug and no longer needed. How convenient.
Please come. We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either Jerry Atkerson. I think it's Jerry Atkerson. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't
All
have
right.
the tag
Unless
on
you
here.
have a
It got ripped
membership
off.
number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at 2.
All right. And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah.
See, that's another thing, right? The boat was at max capacity because Javon Williams had to go to another boat due to no room. So what the hell were they going to do with Nolan? You know what I mean? Like,
How many? All right. Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look.
If not, I can send you a text message.
He like muted there.
All right, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm available.
North 30 degrees. By 46.72.
All right, 4672. All right, and you were breaking up a little bit. Can you just repeat it one more time to make sure I have it correct?
Sorry, look.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, what?
So you're breaking up. If you need assistance, do you have a VHF radio?
No, we do not have the VHF radio.
All right, well, let's try to get you going because you don't have good cell phone reception. Can you verify your coordinates one more time?
Okay, my coordinates are 30 degrees by 14.684 north, and then west by 88 degrees by 46.79.
Right, looks like you're on Horn Island, correct? Are you
Yes,
on
we are
Horn
at Horn
Island?
Island. Yes.
All right, is the boat sinking or you have it aground?
We were sinking, yes.
Is it aground is the question?
No, we're not aground. We are in
Okay.
17 foot of water. We're in 31 foot of water.
All right, have to ask, what do you want to do?
He sounds a little panicked. He does sound a little panicked, like right there. That to me, that does not sound staged. The panic,
Do you want to be towed
in my
back?
opinion.
I want to get this boat unsank and towed back, yes.
All right, where would you like it towed to, sir?
But this is why I don't recommend 18 and 19-year-olds getting together, having a bunch of alcohol, and driving a motorboat out into the ocean.
You can tow it to Ocean Springs Harbor, or Fort Bayou lawn.
All right, how many adults and children on board?
No, there's no children.
You're all freaking
So,
children to me.
Is there anybody on board? How many adults, sir? That was the question. Hello, can you hear me?
Listen, he says like 7.
Try to jump in and pull the plug, Bart, while you're going.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yep, I just need you to answer these questions so I can get you over to the captain.
Okay.
How many
what's
adults
going
on board?
There's 0 adults on board.
There's nobody on board the boat?
No. Nobody
right.
here is over the age of 21.
He's not even
Sir,
listening.
that was not the question. Is there a person? Is there a person, a living individual on the boat?
Hello?
Is there a living person, someone breathing on the boat? Is there anybody on the boat?
Yes, there's lots of people breathing on the boat.
All right, how many people, sir?
Like 7.
All right, thank you. Does everyone have life jackets on or available to them?
Yes, we have life jackets available.
All right, verify what boat's sinking.
A Triton, 22-foot offshore, 22-foot Triton offshore sea flight hull.
Not smart.
All right. All right. Please hold. I'm transferring you to the local captain now.
Good answer.
Yeah, thank you.
This is Captain Seth.
Hi, Captain Seth. This is Vicky from International. How you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. I apologize ahead of time. I really do. You're going to have a fee for service come up under Jerry.
I don't know.
Okay.
It sounds like a bunch of kids on board.
It does sound
on
very
Horn
intoxicated.
Island. He's letting me know that his father's a member, but he can't give me any information. And he's saying the boat is sinking. And he's on Horn Island. It's just unfortunate. He's just a kid. There's a lot going on. So
Right.
he said there's about a lot of people on board. He says he thinks about 7. I'm guessing they're all under 18.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be rude. He wants you guys to go out there and unpump the boat and then tow it in.
Do you know what kind of boat it is?
He said a Triton 24-footer, but that's all he can give me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat.
About 36
And he
hours.
said that Jerry, yeah. He said,
Okay.
I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, he'll call me back. So I'm guessing that they may have figured it out, because that's what he said. So they're in a panic and their boat won't crank.
Yeah, they're in a panic. He's saying the
So-
bilge is not keeping up. I asked for Coast Guard. He said no, but he's just really upset on the back end. And, I get it. It's a
Okay.
kid. He just doesn't understand.
Okay.
Anything
do
is
you still have
possible,
him on the
Chris.
line?
Yes, I still have him on the line. And again, I couldn't find, he couldn't give me anything regarding his grandfather's, membership. So it's just under Jerry fee for service.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just talked to. If you want to, we're so tied up right now. We can't really do any non-member jobs right now.
Is Jerry a member? Did you find out if he was a member or not?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's his boat or what. I'm not sure what's going on with it. But yeah, transfer the kid over. I'll talk to him, and then I'll call his grandpa back.
Guys, hit the thumbs up, please, or double tap the screen.
And did you
if you're
want me
on
to look
mobile.
up Jerry's membership number or anything like that to see if he's up? I know you guys are
You can
swamped.
try this cell phone number.
Yes, sir.
Anything on this phone number.
All right. Yep. It's
They got
Jerry.
towed.
Yeah, he's an active
They
member.
did get towed.
What kind of boat do you have on there? Same boat?
Yeah, he's one of your members. Yep.
Yeah, it was
22-foot
towed.
Triton. All right. I'll just disregard this one. I'm gonna send you over an accurate one under this Jerry Ackerson one. Okay. He's one of your members. You'll get it in a couple minutes. Okay.
Okay, perfect. All right. And yeah, just transfer this kid over whenever you get a chance.
All right. Transferring now. Thank you again, Captain.
All righty.
Stay safe out there. It's crazy. Have a drink.
Oh, it's wild. All righty. Thank you.
The 4th of July. It's
Goodbye.
going to be crazy. So, okay. That is, it's the 4th of July. It's people's out there boating and they are drunk. Okay. Now, listen to this.
And then they take the boat around for hours that night. Okay, Mobley, you don't have.
So they get towed and then they take the boat around for hours that night. Now you can say, well, they got it fixed or whatever. Still, it's a little weird.
a problem with that?
I would want to know the nature of the malfunction of the boat and whether or not it was repaired. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Explain, please.
I mean, it's not complicated. I mean, what it comes down to is what was the nature of the complication of the boat and was it repaired? And if it was repaired properly, then I don't see any issue with it. And I want to be clear, those are legitimate questions. But again, as I alluded to earlier, when you start taking bits and pieces of the puzzle and you start putting them out there without context, that's when you start spreading misinformation. I would assume.
Well, you're right. But I certainly do not believe that this investigation needs to be shut down because there are potential innocent explanations. You don't just end an investigation because it could all be explained away. And I'm not saying his friends are responsible or not responsible because I don't know. Is it true, Crouppen, that many of the people there that day have lawyered up and they're not talking? Is that true? Or have they, unbeknownst to me, have they cooperated and spoken to authorities?
I mean, from what we've seen, that was what happened. They all deleted their social media accounts right away. They lawyered up. So it seems as though they've been advised. And here's a big question for me, Nancy. Was the company that allegedly got the call that they were in distress, and their official statement was before assistance was rendered, the vessel owner advised that sea tow was no longer needed because help had already been obtained. Sea tow's involvement concluded at that point.
Sea tow, everybody, is two words, SEATOW. They come and render aid and haul in, tug in boats, ships that need help. Okay, hold on. Heather Barnhart with me, digital forensics expert, author, co-author of Practical Mobile Forensics 4th edition. What about GPS? What can I learn from the GPS on that boat? Because I want to know.
If his phone is on the boat, it is tracking every location that the boat went to. I would also be curious on the last time the phone was unlocked, the last steps, even if it's not.
I mean, apparently his phone was on because it was on when it got back to the house.
Unlocked, last steps will be tracked, and last general usage, because we may be able to say the last time that Nolan was on his device.
That's crazy.
And physically using it, which would be really helpful in this investigation.
Straight out to Brian Trasher joining us, Vice President, United Cajun Navy, who participated in the search for Nolan. A couple of questions. What can you tell me about GPS on boats, Brian?
Do we know what time this was?
Yeah, I mean, they operate just like any other kind of GPS. They get fed from satellites, and they keep archives of logs and trips and things like that. A couple of things I want to point out there, Nancy, because I'm probably the only person on the panel that's been to Horn Island. You know, they said, going back to the phone and possible deleted messages and all that, when his mother first said she thought that messages had been deleted, she later clarified that what she was talking about, she thought it was odd that Nolan had not done any Snapchats, which
right there. We don't know if any of the if anything was deleted. It was just odd because they looked in his phone and there was no Snapchats, there was nothing, and Nolan snaps and Facebooks and tweets and all of that stuff all day long,
which was his favorite app.
Pictures.
So the reason why he didn't do any Snapchats because he didn't have a signal. It's very hard to get a cell phone signal on Horn Island, and Snapchat doesn't upload if you don't have a signal. You know, what I told him was to check his camera roll. If he wasn't able to upload on his app, maybe he just took pictures with his regular camera and saved it to his camera roll, see if there's any pictures on there. But there's no evidence to suggest that anybody went in and deleted any text messages or anything like that that day. So I just want to, we've been fighting so much information out there, just don't want to help spread it by not addressing that.
Brian Trasher, you and I go back a long way with your involvement with United Cajun Navy. I only have one question for you. Are you a digital forensics expert?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
No further questions. Thank you. Brian Trasher, let me talk about something that you do know about, which includes boat GPS. What exactly, last time for tonight, what exactly was seen?
No clue.
When Nolan's body was found? Every detail.
I mean, my thing is, you know, I have no idea what happened, let it be known. But what I will say is it definitely needs to be investigated more. And I think any parent, you know, putting themselves in these parents' shoes, they should have every question that can be answered. And so I hope that they, you know, I think that the best case scenario is they weren't good friends, in my opinion, and an accident happened. I think that's the best case scenario. Right.
Okay, so the body was right at the shoreline, right where the water meets the sand. It was laying face down. And like I said earlier, the swim trunks that were described and photographed, that he was photographed in the day he died, or the day he presumably died, where he was still wearing, did not appear to be wearing shoes or a shirt. And yeah, face down, and there were...
Okay, let's look at that again. 1 second. Let's
still wearing.
Nolan.
Did not appear to be wearing shoes or...
I can't tell. He doesn't have a shirt on there. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a shirt on there. I'm almost certain he doesn't have a shirt on there.
Shirt. And yeah, face down, and there were law enforcement kind of standing all around him, you know, just whatever they were doing, their jobs, I'm sure. But that is what I saw from the air.
I'm looking at it. Let's see, his face down. His left foot is on top of what looks to be some kelp.
And that's what's really f***ed up about it, right? Like, I'm sure if, you know, heaven forbid, this would be the sheriff's a family member or someone close that he knew, he would not be okay with how he handled this investigation, in my opinion.
That has washed ashore. He looks almost as if he's sleeping. He is face down. He's wearing, at first it appeared to be a shirt. He's not wearing a shirt upon zooming in on it. He's barefoot. I don't see anything on his wrists or arms, such as, a watch. I don't see that. It looks to me like he's sleeping on his stomach with his right leg a little bent.
Summer, they can be jerks. Summary, sorry.
Outward, and his left leg outward as well, like he's asleep on a mattress. His left arm is out and down, like he's a stomach sleeper, and it looks to me like his head is turned to one way into the sand. Now, given that position, I see no way that blood could have pooled in the back of his neck. He is absolutely face down. But that is another argument for Dr. Kendall Crowns and myself for another night.
All right, guys, we're going to end it there. Yeah, I hope that this is, put to rest quickly, but now it's going to be up to a grand jury, which we didn't get to cover tonight. But listen, the grand jury is going to make the decision of whether this should go any further legally as of now. So he is on his stomach. Yep. And I don't understand how he's got this in his back. Now, again, you can say, because of time, you don't know what happened during the first autopsy, all that. But in my experience, working at 3 funeral homes, if there is something, like a bruise looking, it happened generally before they died. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. I mean, things can happen, but I would be really surprised, especially if he was on his stomach. But I don't know. In this case, I truly don't know. It could really go either way. The main thing is that the family gets answers. Anybody would want answers if your child left out, perfectly healthy, graduate, had his whole life ahead of him, and left with his friends, and his friend said, oh, he's leaving, he stayed with the girl, and the girl said no, he was getting on the boat, and his phone is left, phone is at a different location than him. He leaves his phone and all this. You're going to ask questions too. And that's just fair. It may be that one got away. It may be. All that anybody should ask in this is fairness. My opinion, or anybody's opinion, is not going to change the facts. How I feel about it, or otherwise, it's not going to change the facts. So there's that. Remember, the boat was scrubbed clean. Well, if he died or was dead, and they took him off the boat in the day, wouldn't someone see him? Well, he was found in the water, but on his belly, which makes you even question even more why that's on the back of his head. You think about who is being questioned, his friends and his, I'm not saying this is playing an influence, but it certainly can play an influence that his mother is a judge. Was he bloated from being in water? He wouldn't, no, he wouldn't be bloated at 36 hours. Wouldn't be bloated at 36 hours. All right, guys, thank you all so much for joining me. I got to go to bed and I got to wash my face. Make sure you wash your face before you go to bed. Brush your teeth, okay? All right, guys. Yes, thank you, Cindy. Please hype this video. Take one more second after I end this live stream and hype that video. Make a comment down below, right? Prayers for Nolan's family, justice for Nolan, a smiley face, anything like that. So we greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Cindy. Sure, because they don't leave their phones. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. It's not a perfect world, and we're imperfect people, all of us. And at that age, we can forget our phones. We can forget anything, especially if we're intoxicated. But a lot of people think, you can't. Why would he forget that and his keys and everything else? I don't know. But I just want the truth, whatever that is. Thank you, guys. My eyes got me. Got a pain in my head. Oh, I'm sorry, user. Hope you feel better, babe. Thank you, peace. Green eyes, everyone. Vanessa. Yes, make sure you hit the thumbs up if you haven't yet. I do appreciate you all hanging out late with me. And thank you to my other people on the other side of the globe that it's probably a normal hour for you guys right now. So, all right, guys. Good night, everyone. God bless. See you guys on the next one.